Good morning. We're continuing with the laws of Chanukah, and we are on Tafresh Ayin Beis 672-2, and we're talking about the latest time to light Chanukah candles. So we mentioned in our last class that the best time to light Chanukah candles is as nighttime approaches. Now, there's different opinions, but what I do personally, and what many people do, is I light about 20 minutes after sunset. So sunset in Manalapan is at 4:31, so I light at 4:51. And then the candles have to last until 30 minutes after 3 stars come out, which is about 5:43. So I light at 4:31, and there has to be enough oil to last until 5:43. And we mentioned that if someone is using wax candles, they don't last that long. So what someone should do if they're using wax is they should light later. They shouldn't light until about 5:13 at least. So that's the best time to light. Okay. And if you need any specific guidance, particular guidance, please feel free to reach out. And so today we're going to be discussing what happens if for some reason you weren't able to light at the correct time. You were still at work, you had to be somewhere, and you didn't get home until later. So what's the latest time that you can light your Chanukah lights? So let's read the Shulchan Aruch, the Ramah, and then we're going to discuss the Mishnah Berurah Bli Neder. Shachach oy hizid v'lo hidlik im shkias hachama. You forgot, or even on purpose, you didn't light at the right time. Madlik v'holech ad shetichla regel min hashuk. You can light candles until the time of shetichla regel min hashuk. We said the reason that the lights have to go on for a half hour is because of Pirsumei Nisa. We want to publicize the miracle of the Chanukah lights, and that can be done until 30 minutes after when 3 stars come out. And the reason is because people are still in the marketplace, people are still walking by and can see your Chanukah lights. So that's the opinion of the Shulchan Aruch. We're going to see that this is not necessarily how we paskin. Shukamo chatzi shah, it's about a half hour. She'azham over b'shavim, that's when people are out. V'ika Pirsumei Nisa, there's that we are still publicizing the miracle. Hilkach, therefore, tzarich litin b'shamin kazeh hashir. That's why we have to have enough oil to last that long. So me, who lights at 4:51, the oil needs to last until 1/2 hour, until after the 3 stars come out, because that's when people are still around that are looking around at the outside and can see the Chanukah lights. And you have to have enough oil to last that long. So I have to have enough oil to last from 4:31 until 5:43. So that's over I'm sorry, 4:51. I said 4:31. I meant 4:51 until 5:43. So that's almost an hour. So now, since we said wax candles don't last that long, that's why people with wax candles should light a little bit later at like 5:13. V'im nasan b'yoser. If you let's say you put in a lot of oil, and the candles keep going for hours and hours after. You can close the candles. You can blow out the candles after this time. And you can also use the light of the candles at this time. Right, we said that when the Chanukah lights, when we are fulfilling the mitzvah, we can't get benefit from the light. But after the time when one fulfills the mitzvah, then one can get benefit from the light. Says the Ramah, Yesh omrim shebizman hazeh shemadlikin bifnim ein tzarich lizar lahadlik kodem shetichla regel min hashuk. Mikol makom tov yoser lizar gam bizman hazeh. So the Ramah writes that nowadays, remember back in the day, people used to light the Chanukah menorah outside in front of their door. But the Ramah writes that nowadays, since people light inside, we don't have to be so careful that we have to light before the time of Shetichla Regel Min Hashuk. We don't have to be so careful that we light the candles by 5:43. So when can we light them? We'll see. But lechatchila, though, he says preferably one should light at this time. Umiyu hanimile lechatchila. That's lechatchila aval avar zeazman. But if one didn't light at the right time, v'lo hidlik madlik v'holech kol halayla, then you could light the whole evening. V'im avar kol halayla, if the whole evening went by, v'lo hidlik ein lo tashlumin, then you can't light. So if one doesn't light in the proper time, he can light Chanukah candles the entire evening. Now we're going to see that there are going to be some limitations. We'll talk about those in a second. But if for some reason one missed a night of Chanukah, there's no thing that he lights an extra candle the next night. He missed it. But if one didn't light at the proper time, he can light the entire night, which means until dawn. It's just what we mentioned, that he lights like everybody else. Okay, let's see the Mishnah Berurah. We might just summarize some of this. Okay, let's start. Let's read the Mishnah Berurah. It says if it's after the time one can put out the candle. We right. We said that after the half hour of Shetichel Regel Minashuk, one can blow out the candles if he has to. Says the Mishnah Berurah, She'eno Mikatza Hashem and Rakma Shetzarech L'Shir Chatzi Shalom Mitzvaso. He only set aside oil to do the mitzvah, which is a half hour. V'alkein Mutter L'Chvoso Halahanis Mimenu. So he's allowed to blow it out and get enjoyment from it after that half hour. Mikol Makom Heskimu Kama Achronim T'Lechatchila Tov Lahasno She'eno Miksa Shemen Elo L'Shir Hadlaka Mishum Diyesh Min HaPoskim Shesovrim Di'im Nasan Bestam Hiktzil Mitzvaso Hakol. So he says that nevertheless, if one for some reason can't leave his Hanukkah lights going all night, what he should do is he should have in mind that after the time that the lights need to be lit, that he intends to blow them out. Because the fact that you put in all the oil initially seems like you're putting it in for the mitzvah. So it's better if you have in mind, for whatever reason, let's say you're leaving, or you don't want to leave the candles before you go to bed, you have in mind that before I'm going to go to bed, after the proper time of lighting, I'm going to blow out the candles. Okay. And then he says there actually are those that are stringent, even though the Shulchan Aruch said that after the mitzvah time period, one could benefit from the candles, but the Mishnah Berurah quotes those that say we should be stringent in this matter and we shouldn't benefit from the Hanukkah candles at all. Okay, now, so what happens if we get home late, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and we have not yet been able to light the Hanukkah candles? So what we should do is that we have to, well, let's read the Mishnah Berurah. So we said we can light until Amud Shachar, Ad Amud Shachar, ubebracha, and we light with a bracha. V'hanu davke im bnei habayis neurim, aval im yeshenim, ein levarach alayim ela yadlik lo bracha dekmod lididei lo hay mevarach ela bezman pirs menes hachanam lididan. V'im ba lebeso kodem alos shachar matzam bnei beso yeshenim min anachum sheyakitzam kedei shiyuchol lahadlik bebracha. So he writes like this: an integral part of the mitzvah of lighting Hanukkah lights is Pirsume Nisa, is to publicize the miracle of Hanukkah. So let's say you get home, and it's not the proper time of lighting anymore, and there's nobody around. So he says that it wouldn't be appropriate to light the candles with a bracha, with a blessing, because you are not publicizing the miracle to anybody. So he says what you should do is you should make sure people are up in your home, and then you should light the Hanukkah lights. And he writes that if you get home, let's say really late at night, it's like 3 a.m, it's before Amud Shachar, before dawn, what you should actually do is you should wake people up so that you are able to light the Hanukkah lights with a bracha. Now, I'm sure your family members won't be so happy to do that, so obviously it's always best to light in the proper time. So now, let's say there's nobody home, if someone lives alone. So then, from the Mishnah Berurah, it seems that if you get home really late and there's nobody home, it seems like from the Mishnah Berurah that you should light without a bracha, although there are some that seem to argue on this. The issue is also because nowadays people are up later than they used to be because we have electric lights, so some want to say the time of Ad Shetichel Regel Minashuk goes longer. But the best thing to do is, again, if you get home late and it's 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 3 a.m, if there are people in your house that are up and they gather around, then you could light the Hanukkah candles with a bracha. If you get home really late and there's nobody home and you live alone, then you should light the Hanukkah candles with a bracha, or without a bracha is not so clear. Please ask your local Orthodox rabbi. And but again, the best time to light is, like we mentioned last time, that a few minutes after Shkia, if you have oil, and then if not, light by Tseis. So again, if you have oil, the best time to light in Manalabin is at 4:51, around that time, and the candle should go until 5:43. If you're using wax candles, the best time is to light at about 5:13, around that time, and they should also last until 5:43. Now, if you get home late, you should light until dawn. If there are people around in the house, then you should light with a bracha. So again, dawn is like, really early in the morning, and you can light until then, or really late, however you look at it. If there's nobody in the house, then it seems like there's a big debate if you can light with a blessing or not. And please have a wonderful day and a happy Hanukkah.